One moment, a city was celebrating. Tens of thousands gathered, hearts pounding with joy after Liverpool FC's long-awaited Premier League title win. The air trembled with chants, flags waved, and children raised above the crowd cheered on their heroes. But in a horrifying instant, the celebration shattered. Out of nowhere, a car plowed into the dense crowd, sending dozens flying and leaving a trail of chaos, panic, and pain. Imagine the terror. Parents screaming for their children, friends searching desperately for each other, first responders racing to stabilize the wounded, 65 injured, including 4 children. 11 clung to life in hospital beds that night. The city, known for its unbreakable spirit and love for the beautiful game, was forced to wonder, how, in a world of modern technology and high-security warnings, did this horror take place? Today we're diving deep, beyond the headlines, into the shocking Liverpool parade crash. What really happened behind the scenes? Was it just a freak accident, or are there deep-rooted failures that any modern city could fall victim to? And more importantly, could technology be the key to stopping future tragedies? Or might it lead us down a new path of surveillance and lost freedoms? Let's set the stage. Liverpool's title parade was supposed to be a historic, unifying moment after years of heartbreak. Over 250 officers were mobilized, including 20 armed response units. Streets were cordoned off, and the city invested heavily in crowd control, expecting massive turnouts. As the city's mayor, Steve Rotheram, later put it, "We planned for all contingencies." Yet even as they congratulated themselves on security, trouble was brewing below the surface. At 6:17 p.m., an ambulance had to cross a key roadblock to help a man suspected of a heart attack. Protocol kicked in, the barrier lifted for what should have been a routine emergency. But in those 7 minutes, a 53-year-old man, driving a rented Ford Galaxy, later discovered to be obtained with fake ID, slipped through. CCTV later revealed that this wasn't a random act. The driver had circled the parade route 3 times, his intentions hidden behind tinted windows. Forensic investigators would later confirm he was under the influence, benzodiazepines and cannabis showing up in his blood. This was no mere moment of madness. He saw the opportunity and took it. Then came the horror. The car accelerated through unaware fans, young and old, who'd just seconds earlier posed for pictures and sang club anthems. Video shows the Ford edging along Water Street, then suddenly surging into a jam-packed crowd. Panic erupted. Witness Matthew O'Carroll, who could have been in the car's path, remembered, "If we'd left the parade a minute later, we might have been involved. It was a real thing of, wow, that was it. Potentially a close shave." What followed was chaos. Sirens, shouts, bloody injuries. In a moment meant for joy, Liverpool was plunged into fear. The police arrested the driver at the scene on suspicion of attempted murder, dangerous driving, and drug driving. Rumors spread online like wildfire, some whispering about terrorism, others about revenge or madness. Merseyside Assistant Chief Constable Jenny Sims clarified, "There was no intelligence to suggest an incident of this nature would take place. An extensive investigation into the precise circumstances is underway." Local and national leaders rushed to express sympathy. King Charles, on a state visit, wrote, "It is truly devastating to see that what should have been a joyous celebration for so many could end in such distressing circumstances." The Prince and Princess of Wales echoed this, sending thoughts to the injured and gratitude to emergency services. But sympathy is little comfort to those scarred by trauma. Over 500 people called crisis support in 48 hours. 7 suffered severe orthopedic injuries requiring surgery. For some, life would not return to normal. Liverpool FC even offered lifetime season tickets to those permanently disabled, a reminder of just how deep the wound ran. Yet as the city began to heal, serious questions started swirling. How did such a breach happen? Was this a single lapse in judgment or a symptom of greater systemic weakness? Security experts and event planners zeroed in on the night's failures. Lee Doddridge, a renowned security consultant, didn't mince words. The lack of visible, robust hostile vehicle mitigation measures was a catastrophic failure in event planning. In other words, despite the police presence, there simply weren't enough physical barriers to stop a determined vehicle. And it wasn't just the barriers. Crowd psychologist Professor John Drury pointed to a deeper issue. Density and flow dynamics weren't adequately considered, creating vulnerabilities exploited by the perpetrator. The roads chosen for temporary closure became weak points, and real-time monitoring wasn't tight enough to spot suspicious circling or react to the unexpected. Already, legal fallout has begun. Shuri Aldridge, one of the injured, is suing the city for negligence, alleging that event security was not only lacking but dangerously insufficient. Insurance estimates put the city's liability at over $10 million, a staggering sum for any local government. Meanwhile, the search for accountability rages in the media and online. Some point fingers at police decision-making in the heat of the moment. Others highlight the strain placed on security staff juggling both crowds and emergencies. As ACC Jenny Sims admitted, the speed with which misinformation spread online complicated our initial response and resource allocation. Then there's the human cost. Dr. Eleanor Smith, a trauma specialist, warns, long-term psychological support is crucial for victims, as the trauma's impact can be enduring. The scars, both physical and mental, will linger for years. But while the outrage is real, so is the fear. Will this happen again? And what can and should be done to prevent it? The city's response has been swift. Already there are calls for permanent vehicle barriers, more sophisticated surveillance, even background checks for staff and contractors at large events. Some are considering new forms of insurance and legal reform to ensure responsibility is clear and compensation is available. However, as the debate intensifies, a new tension emerges. Technology offers hope and vigilance, but at what price? The insurance industry is weighing new event liability products. City councils are exploring AI-powered surveillance and facial recognition systems. Drones could soon monitor crowds from above, while advanced vehicle barriers might become as common as bunting at public gatherings. But critics warn of a slippery slope. How much security is too much? Where does smart protection end and mass surveillance begin? Could Liverpool's tragedy be the catalyst for a UK-wide or even global pivot to a new type of security state, one where every celebration is watched by machine eyes and every street corner is fortified? Mark Roberts, representing the Event Planner Association, cautions, this incident underscores the need for standardized, regularly updated security protocols for all public events. Yet he and others acknowledge the uncomfortable trade-offs ahead: privacy versus peace of mind, open streets versus fortress cities. As we stand at this crossroads, a haunting question looms. Can technology truly guarantee public safety, or does it risk creating a future where our freedoms slowly erode in exchange for the illusion of control? In the aftermath of Liverpool's darkest parade, the eyes of the world are watching. What will the city, and all who love a good celebration, choose next? Because the next chapter in this story isn't just about Liverpool, it's about every city, every festival, and every fan who wants to cheer in safety, but doesn't want to lose something much more precious in the name of protection. So, how far should we go? Can technology both secure and free us? Or, by trying to prevent the next tragedy, do we risk stumbling into one of a very different kind? As the dust settles in Liverpool, the city finds itself at a crossroads, caught between grief, outrage, and the urgent need for action. The shockwaves from the parade crash extend far beyond the city's boundaries, reaching every community that gathers in public spaces, every family that wants to celebrate together, and every government confronting the delicate balance between safety and freedom. The aftermath has exposed not just the raw trauma inflicted on 65 injured fans, 4 of them children, but also deeper structural questions. Why did 250 officers, including 20 armed units, fail to prevent this breach? Why was there no real-time alert when the roadblock was lifted? How could a single car, rented with falsified papers, become a weapon in the heart of celebration? These aren't just the city's questions. They belong to every organizer planning a festival, every club celebrating a victory, and every citizen who wonders, is my safety truly in good hands? The first immediate consequence has been legal. Lawsuits are mounting. Shuri Aldridge, one of the severely injured, has already filed against the city council for negligence. Experts predict insurance liabilities in excess of £10 million. Some speculate this figure could rise even higher as more victims come forward, each story a testament to pain and a demand for accountability. But the conversation has quickly pivoted to public policy and, most fiercely, to technology. In the wake of the crash, city leaders and security experts have floated a wave of proposals that sound like they're pulled straight from a sci-fi thriller. Imagine AI-powered cameras, facial recognition tracking every face, smart barriers that rise automatically when threats are detected, drones patrolling above parades, and crowds analyzed in real time for abnormal movement patterns. To some, this is the future, a digital shield that could save lives. To others, it's the first step on a slippery slope toward a surveillance state. Professor John Drury, a leading crowd psychologist, warns, if we design our public life around the idea that anyone could be a threat, We risk losing trust and joy in communal events, but if we ignore these risks, we invite catastrophe. Lawmakers are already drafting legislation that could, if passed, change the fabric of city life. Vehicle access to pedestrian zones may soon require biometric authentication or geofenced digital keys. Background checks for event staff could become as rigorous as those used in aviation security. Even the insurance industry is eyeing new requirements. Public liability policies may soon mandate a checklist of tech-based countermeasures. No facial recognition, no coverage. At the same time, campaigners for civil liberties are rallying. They argue that the urge to prevent another Liverpool can easily become an overreach, with every camera and checkpoint eroding the privacy that makes vibrant city life possible. The UK's Information Commissioner has already demanded a public review of any AI deployment in public spaces, while advocacy groups are calling for transparency and strict oversight. But let's step back. What does all this mean for you, the viewer, the citizen, the parent, the fan? What practical lessons can we draw, both for ourselves and for the communities we belong to? First, awareness is power. While none of us expects to become a victim, knowing how crowd security works and where its weak points lie can help you stay vigilant. At any large event, scan for the exits. Note the positions of medical tents. If you see a vehicle somewhere it shouldn't be, alert staff immediately. Your call could be the difference between prevention and disaster. Second, demand transparency from organizers. Whether you're attending a parade, a concert, or a local festival, ask about their safety measures. Are there physical barriers? Is there a clear evacuation plan? Who's monitoring the perimeter? The more questions citizens ask, the more incentive organizers have to invest in genuine security, not just box ticking. Third, support adaptable solutions. Professor Lee Doddridge, a veteran security consultant, insists, there's no one-size-fits-all fix. The best security adapts to each event, combining trained personnel, smart technology, and community engagement. Instead of hoping technology alone will save us, advocate for integrated strategies. Physical barriers combined with tech sensors, visible staff who are trained in crowd psychology, and easy lines of communication between the public and police. Fourth, champion mental health support after incidents. Dr. Eleanor Smith, a trauma specialist, reminds us, psychological wounds often linger long after broken bones have healed. Cities must invest in long-term counseling for survivors and witnesses alike. If you or someone you know is struggling after a traumatic event, reach out for support. Crisis hotlines, like the one that received 500 calls in the first 48 hours after the crash, are lifelines. For local governments and planners watching this story unfold, the lessons are stark. Security plans must be watertight, regularly updated, and rooted in the real-world dynamics of crowds. Hostile vehicle mitigation can't be an afterthought. It must be integrated from the start. That means investing not just in cameras and sensors, but in flexible, human-driven response protocols that don't crumble when the unexpected happens, like a roadblock lifted for an ambulance. But perhaps the most profound lesson is philosophical. The debate raging in Liverpool is not just about safety gear, it's about the kind of society we want to build. The promise of technology is seductive. Algorithms don't sleep, machines don't look away. Yet, as campaigners remind us, total security can come at the cost of personal freedom, privacy, and trust. So, can technology keep us truly safe without sacrificing freedom? The answer, it seems, is nuanced. Tech can absolutely help. AI monitoring can flag suspicious behavior faster than a human ever could. Smart barriers can stop a vehicle when seconds matter. But tech is a tool, not a guarantee. The Liverpool parade crash was a harsh reminder that even the most advanced systems are only as strong as their weakest human link. The real path forward is integration. Blending robust, thoughtfully deployed technology with trained, alert staff and engaged, empowered communities. True safety is a partnership, invisible when it works, but painfully obvious when it fails. And here's a secret fact, revealed in the latest reports. Moments before the crash, the driver had already circled the parade route 3 times, each time testing the response from security staff. The AI-powered threat detection system, which the council had trialed months earlier but never fully implemented due to budget cuts and privacy concerns, would likely have caught this suspicious behavior, potentially saving dozens from injury. This is the bittersweet irony. Sometimes, fear of overreach keeps us from deploying the very tools that could prevent disaster. So where does Liverpool go from here? The city is already leading a national review of public event security standards. Other cities are watching, learning, and starting their own audits. Insurance companies, tech firms, and civil liberties groups are locked in urgent discussion. For those directly affected, Liverpool FC has offered lifetime season tickets to fans with lasting injuries, a gesture of community, yes, but also a poignant reminder of what was lost. But for all of us, the Liverpool crash is a wake-up call. It urges us to ask hard questions, to demand accountability, and to insist on both safety and civil liberties. The solutions of the future, AI, smart barriers, predictive analytics, will shape not just the events we attend, but the very fabric of public life. It's up to us to ensure that in the pursuit of safety, our cities remain open, vibrant, and free. If this story moved you, share it with someone who attends public events. Start a conversation about how your community can protect both its people and its freedoms. Subscribe for more in-depth investigations, and tell us in the comments, what safety measures would make you feel secure without feeling surveilled? Your voice can help shape the solutions of tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Stay aware,